questions. Welcome to everybody on this Saturday. Usual disclaimer that you need to understand about trading. We're going to show some charts. We're going to show some performance. We're going to show some results. So you just need to understand in trading, obviously, there's always risk. You always want to make sure you understand that risk. You want to make sure you're always capitalized correctly and trade responsibly. And that's really the whole idea behind system trading like this. Always having exact entries and exact stops and understanding what those are. And we all know we're going to make profits on trades. We're also going to lose on trades. And of course, in the end, the idea is to come out ahead. That's always our objective. As far as what we're going to cover today, really going to talk about, is there a better way or a better business to scale and grow our profits in the world in trading? I really don't think that there is. There's one huge thing that you need to do that. I'm not going to say it's necessarily easy, but once you can accomplish this one thing, it is kind of actually easy, and probably easier than any business that any of us have been involved with over the years. We're going to demo the new PTU trading strategy, so we're going to go to the charts, we're going to show trades, we're going to show performance, we're going to show how you can really scale and grow your account, and then we're going to talk about how you can do that by enrolling in the Premier Trader University, how to master these exact trading systems we're going to show you, follow these exact things we're going to teach you today. So we've got a lot of good stuff to cover. I won't cover this too much. Most of you know our history. We've been around, really this is our 17th year. I keep meaning to update this now that we've rolled over into 2013, but we started way back in 1996. We've trained thousands of traders from around the world, 105 countries, which is even hard for me to believe or comprehend at this point. All of us on the team trade in the markets. We all trade live. That is probably one of the things that makes us different than most everybody out there. We've been featured in a number of publications, been at a number of the international expos. We definitely feel we have a great handle on what it takes to succeed in trading and also what causes a lot of the failure, because you have to embrace and understand that in order to get people from that level, which is where we all start, to the point of profitability. This is the team in NetPicks, myself in the top left, Brian, who's answering your questions right now live in the top right. Troy gets the middle square, and he's with us as well. And then you probably have heard or talked to or integrated or emailed or whatever with some of the rest of the team. If you haven't, this is the rest of the team that's behind supporting the Premier Trader University. So, how to launch your trading business to full-time income and beyond. I know 5 ways that you can do this, and that these can be steadily repeated, and that's really important. You don't want anything where you're relying on like buying Apple shares and being smart enough to know that they're going to go from literally being almost bankrupt to being this whatever phenomenon, and that's how you make it, because that's like catching lightning in a bottle. Some people did it, most people did not, and will that ever replicate in our lifetimes? Who knows? Maybe. But you want to have actually something that you can steadily and dependably repeat over and over again in order to grow your business. You don't want to rely on that once-in-a-generation type of event. So the first way I know how to do this, and the way that you'll be able to do it, is just simply adding to your position sizing. You can double or triple your profits in a click. And this is probably the most powerful thing and the simplest thing in trading. You need an edge, though, right? The only way you're going to be able to do this, and this is, understand on these 5 ways I'm going to show you, without having a great system and education, you can't do any of these things. But if you can just get into place a system that is dependable, profitable, and you have the education to be able to execute on it, all of a sudden, these 5 ways open up to you. So you've got to have a real edge in the market. You need consistency. You can't have something that's hit and miss, where it's like hot for a day or a week, and then it's awful for a while until it hits again. You need kind of consistency. You can't have perfection, but it needs to be consistent. You have to control the drawdowns, right? This is really important psychologically. It's really important just to be able to have proper leverage. So drawdown is a key thing to look at. That's the number of losses in a row, and how does that impact your account. You need a trade plan that details everything, because you can't go into this blindly. You need to know exactly where you're going to get in, where you're going to get out, and when you're going to quit on the session. You also have to dedicate yourself to following that trade plan diligently. You cannot veer from that trade plan. This is really critical. It's not as easy as it sounds. You also need to minimize your trading time. You will not make more money by trading more time necessarily. There is a point where you absolutely will. I will show you one of the ways that can be done. But there's a breaking point on that as well. Mistakes is key. If you don't have a trading system that's easy to follow and replicate, you'll have a lot of problems. When we go to the charts here in a few minutes, myself and Troy, look how easy it appears to be able to follow the system, because everything is what we call WYSIWYT. What you see is what you trade. Everything you do is clear on the charts. But you just need a market that can scale. This is how you start. You can add more contracts, more shares, more volume. That's all you need to do in order to double, triple, quadruple your profits over time. So this is how you do it literally in a half a second, right? You go ahead initially and you buy one contract of the Russell E-mini or the crude oil futures, or you buy one options contract, or you buy one standard pair, one mini of the Euro US dollar. What do you think you all need to do to double your profits? Name any other business where all you need to do is move over one key on the keyboard. No extra work, no extra time, no extra thinking, no extra expansion. You do need more capital. That's you need. But how do you get more capital? You start with the one and you grow your business to the point that you can add that second contract. Now it's time to triple. What do? You move literally over one key on the keyboard. I've bought and sold a number of businesses in my career. Things have nothing to do with trading, other, internet, e-commerce, offline. I've never, ever been involved in anything where I can scale with this much ease. But the true barrier is what will allow me to go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. That part's not automatic. That part's not a given. Right? You can't slip on the keyboard and suddenly hit 9. All right? You have to build to a certain point. So that's why I want to show you this spreadsheet, which if you've attended one of our webinars here recently, we covered this a little bit. But this is worth showing again. And this is the capital plan spreadsheet. And there's some assumptions in here. And because I don't want to take too much time, just a few things I want to point out. I'm just assuming, in this case, a starting account of $7,500. You may not have that. You may have $5,000. You may be starting with $3,000. You may be starting with $25,000 or $50,000. So everything is a little bit different. We have a number of different trade plans. I put in a plan here that was averaging $94 a day on a single contract per day. All winners and losers included, not just winning trades. That's just a simple average per day. And about a week or two ago, we showed you how you can build a full-time income just averaging $40 per day. So 94 is really good, but you don't even need 94. You can have 40, 50, 60, whatever the case may be. I'm going to limit this plan to 10 contracts because I'm going to be realistic here. I'm not going to show you a spreadsheet where it assumes you're suddenly trading 1,000 contracts in a market, which is not possible. You won't have the liquidity to do that. We've got some risk per trade, so we can play around with that a little bit. Based upon a back test and based upon the results we give, you'll kind of know what your average risk is. Risk per trade of the account. This is a percentage you'll start at a level, and over time we'll want you to get this lowered. And then I know some of these are weird things to say here, but we're looking to pull income out of our account. We want to grow that account so I get what? Permission to go from 1 to 2 to 3 on my keyboard, correct? But I want to also start to pay myself, because why else should I do this? Two-thirds of you want a full-time income. A third of you want part-time. So the other, 1 out of 5 want to build the account. You're going to be able to accomplish all of that with this. So normal spreadsheet, you've got some expenses, $175 a month. On the first month, trading one contract, $94 a day, we made, $1,880. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'll try to point it out here. We have a little bit of cost, so we netted $1,705, and it says, look, your account grew to $9,200. Notice what happens by July. July allows me to double my contracts. The reason for that is because of the numbers up above. Based upon the risk and the percent that I'm willing to allow, I built my account up high enough that I'm now enabling myself to add a second contract. I just moved over to the right on the keyboard. Well, look how much quicker I get to the third contract, because now what's happening, compounding, is building in. Also, look what happens in August if I start January. I'm starting to take money out of my account, $1,000, $1,000. Literally by October, I've already doubled it to $2,000 a month, which may not sound like a lot just yet, but you've already grown your account within the first year here to $30,000 practically, and you're taking money out, and you're only doing this averaging $90 a day. Okay, we're not saying, oh, you need to make $500 a day like some of these false promises out there on a contract. I mean, this is reasonable, real trading, real results, real expectations. What do you think happens when you start to get that compounding? Notice how quickly you go to 4 contracts, then 5 contracts, right? This is literally really the second year you've been doing this. You're already up to $5,000 a month. Your account's grown to $47,675. And again, we continue to scale all the way up to a maximum, literally in the second year, right? Year 1, year 2, you're already up to 10. You're already at $10,000 a month. You already have your account. Also, you've got that capital, so you've accomplished full-time income. You started part-time, went to full-time, and you're building those capital reserves. In the end, in 5 years, you've taken out $859,000 in income. You're sitting with an account at $400,000, which more than likely means you're going to follow some of the other scaling I'm about to show you. So that is the power of trading. But if you do something you shouldn't do, which is too quickly take your money out, let's say I say, well, you know, when I get to $10,000, I'm going to start taking money out. Look what happens to the contracts traded. It stays at 1. Isn't that amazing? No change overall other than me saying, oh, once I start to get to $10,000, I want to start to take out $1,000. It hardly ever lets me grow that income. The income stays stuck at 1 or 2,000. Now, it's still a good result. I'm not complaining, and it's still a very good profit. But it just goes to show you, number one objective, grow the capital in the account first, then start to take out capital. Just by going to 20,000 here, I mean, look at the difference. If we were able to have a little lower risk type of trade or a trade plan, again, the profits and everything go straight up. You know, if we're going to risk a little less, well, as you can imagine, some of that will initially go down just a little bit, but not long. I mean, we still get up pretty quick to trading multiple contracts. So that's the beauty of this overall. Now, what happens when you start to grow that account, you start to build, you know, you're moving beyond that one contract, one market. You can start to add new market opportunities during the same time, during the same trading window. So what I want to show you here are at the same window, if you started at these different times, what are the additional markets you could trade by adding no extra time to your day or your night. So these are all based on New York time, and I'll just kind of roll these out first, and then we can talk about this. So let's just say you were somebody who started at 9 o'clock, New York, and you started with crude oil futures. Well, what if you didn't want to add additional times, you didn't want to trade later in the day, at night, you just wanted to add markets to the same time, because these strategies are not difficult to follow. Once you get up and running, there's no question you'll be able to trade multiple markets. At 9 o'clock start time, you have crude oil, natural gas, unleaded gas, heating oil, and DAX futures. Pretty nice. What if you started at 9:30? Maybe you started with the Russell E-mini. Well, you've got the Dow E-mini, the NASDAQ E-mini, the mid-cap E-mini, the S&P E-mini. You could even look at some of the energies because maybe they're still going at that point. You may want to start later, 10:30 a.m. You've got all the agriculturals. You know, if that's the only thing you do, you can add additional. You can add soybeans if you're just trading wheat. Start in the European market hours. Absolutely, you can do DAX futures, and you can add on Forex, you know, during that same time. And if you want to go ahead and just add anything and you just want to work on the nightly, daily charts, you don't have to trade one stock or one Forex pair. We recommend you trade multiple stocks and multiple Forex pairs. So you have the opportunity to scale in the exact same time window. So now you have two ways to scale and grow your business. You grow the contracts and you add markets, right? So now you're starting to get this multiple going. You're going to be able to do this because your account's going to grow to the point, especially if you pick sort of like some non-correlated markets in the same time frame. Think about what's going to happen there. It's really powerful. Again, name any business in the world that you can do something like this. What's the third way to do it? Well, now maybe you might decide, you know what? I'm trading one of those shifts, one of those time zones. I'm going to add additional shifts to what I do. I mean, why not? Maybe some of you are comfortable starting, let's say, at 8:20 in the morning, and you start with silver futures. And then 9 o'clock, heating oil kicks in. So you're not killing yourself. You're not trying to balance 5 different things at once. You probably will be done half the time or 2/3 of the time by 9 o'clock anyway with the first market. Maybe not. You might be trading both of them now. So you start with heating oil futures, and then 30 minutes later, you know, you got plenty of time. You start up and you start to trade the Russell E-mini futures. And then how about an hour later, you start up and you trade the wheat futures, and you finish everything. You know, it's typically still in the morning if we're talking U.S. hours. So this is a way to add new market opportunities in these shifts. If you're European market hours, you can start with the DAX futures, then shift into the Eurobond, start adding the Forex into the mix, you can do the exact same thing. Now, this does require, of course, now starting to expand your time, right? Number one and number two that I just showed you took no additional time. This does take some additional time. All PTU systems, we can trade all of these plans. Again, this is one of the beauties about being involved in this university is you'll have access to every single market and plan and approach that I'm telling you about. You will be able to trade all these different ways and also expand your business all these ways. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is you don't want to be this lady, because the only downside to this is you can get to the point where it's no longer lifestyle trading and you're just trading one shift, two shift, three shifts, like Brian, my partner, talks about in some other presentations, trading that third shift when he would trade Forex literally 24/7. There is a breaking point on this. So this would not be the first way that I would scale my business. I would scale my business with number one first, then number two, and then start to think about adding another shift, another trade zone shift, and that's what I would do. You don't need to add, 8-10 hours a day by any means. Now, what's another way you can do it? Adding swing trading if you're already day trading, or reverse it. If you're currently day trading, add swing trading to your trading business. If you're day trading futures, why not add some non-correlated Forex swing trading plans? It's not going to conflict in time. It's not going to make the business any harder or more stressed out. And you're going to go ahead and be able to do it once a day, once every 24 hours in 5, 10, 15 minutes. Perfect. If you're day trading Forex, you can have a lot of the same options. Why not try to day trade futures, which actually we think is easier to be consistently successful than trading Forex on the day trade side, or go into swing trading on Forex, which we also think is easier and smarter than maybe trying to do it on the day trading side of Forex. If you're swing trading Forex, perfect. Start to look at stocks and options. Huge opportunity. It used to be years ago what everybody did, but everybody sort of got into the glamour of Forex. But I'm telling you, some of the best opportunities and the biggest ability to scale are in stock. And if you're doing stock and options already, how about adding some active income to what you do? Because as you know, when you swing trade stock and options, there's a lot of waiting and waiting for moves. Even with Forex, you have some of that. A few times a year you get the big moves, but other times it's a little bit up and down. You can add some day trading to what you do. You can start to add some consistent daily income, average income anyway, to your overall plan. Another great way to scale. And with Premier Trader University, we do all of these. Day trade Forex, swing trade stock and options, day trade futures. You'll have the opportunity to grow over time. The fifth way, of course, and the last way, is to add stock and options as your account grows due to greater liquidity and volume. I like to point this out because most of you will start with Forex and futures. But one of the best ways to grow, when your account gets to 6 figures, you are going to start to have some other areas to deploy your capital. It's important to not have your trading business, your scale opportunity, suddenly halt. Well, you can't typically trade 1,000 contracts of crude oil or 100 very easily. You can, but there is some breaking point with slippage, with issues that you're going to run into. With stocks, there's just no breaking point. Okay, there just isn't. The scale in stock and options, hundreds of millions to billions of dollars per day, sometimes per instrument, and you've got dozens, if not hundreds, to choose from. And as you guys know, there's a reason the largest hedge funds and mutual funds in the world, they trade stock and options and ETFs, not Forex and not futures. They're definitely good-sized managed funds that do Forex and futures, but they're never up to the scale of hedge funds and mutual funds, which into the many billions. So I think when we talk many billions, chances are we're going to be okay when it comes to scale. I don't think that's going to be an issue, right, for most of us. We're not, maybe there's a Warren Buffett in the crowd, but for most of us, that's not really what we need or what we're after or looking to control. But you want to be able to make sure that what you do doesn't stall out. We have proven plans for stock and options when you're ready. A lot of people aren't ready initially. You've got to build that active trading account first. So why can a trading business scale? Name any other business opportunity where you can have unlimited earnings potential, minimum startup capital, controlled risk and reward, no employees, limited overhead, you decide the hours, and you can even commit part or full time. I mean, this is the greatest business in the world with one exception. You've got to be able to have that great set of systems, trade plans, and education. That's always going to be the missing link in this, but I think everybody can agree that if you can get up and over that hump, right, join those of you here who are successful, then these are the beauties of being able to grow and scale a trading business with really very little additional effort. Now, one problem that we see out there in the industry a lot is there's a lot of curve-fitted and over-optimized systems, right? These robots that kind of blow up. They do not scale. One thing you do want to avoid is don't trade systems that are curve-fitted. It doesn't equal profits. What do you want to look for? Minimize drawdowns. Every system should have drawdowns. If you're looking at a trading system and it hardly has any losses, it's never going to repeat itself in real time. It's completely bogus. It won't happen. If you're looking at a trading system that wins 90% of the time or more, or 80% even, it's probably bogus. It's just not going to be something that you're going to be able to replicate. I like to look for 2 out of 3. That's kind of our mantra here. Win 2 out of 3 times. Good for psychological reasons and very achievable. Make sure that your average dollar per trade is going to be something that's going to work for you, because sometimes there's these curve-fitted systems that make very little per trade. They show that they trade thousands of times, and it adds up to an amazing bottom line, but it's BS because there's commissions, mistakes, slippage. One of the beauties about swing trading is your average dollar per trade tends to be very, very high. Also, minimize the time per day. It looks really easy to look at a chart and seeing a bunch of profits and go, yeah, I can do that. But if you dig a little deeper and start to have to sit there for 8 hours a day to do that, you're never going to make it. And then also you got to understand the dark side. What's the worst day? Can you take it? Will you be surprised when in real time it happens 2 days in a row and it doubles the worst thing ever? You need to kind of look at all these things to succeed. A lot of times you'll see these equity curves like this, and this is what you're promising and hoping for. It doesn't achieve any of the things I just told you to look out for, and what tends to happen after that? This is what happens. This exact same equity curve. Why in the first 40 trades were you going crazy making money, and then all of a sudden, probably in real time, to the right, in that downside is where your account was? How often does that happen to you, right? 80% of you have lost 50% or more, probably because you bought in at the peak thinking that this curve-fit over-optimized system, this robot, let's say, is going to keep going, and it never does, right? It ends up falling off a cliff to the other side. So you really got to control your drawdowns. We talked about this. That's why we look at this side of the equation. When you've got small drawdowns, 5%, 10%, not very difficult to recover. The problem is when you start to get to the higher drawdowns where things get kind of ugly. You start to lose 50% of your money. Remember, 80% of you have. Look at what you needed to make just to get back to break even. Ugh, not so good, right? It's not easy to make 100% very quickly unless you use crazy leverage, and then most likely, if you try that, this is where you are, right? Now you're down 90%, and you're having to somehow make 900% on that 10% left just to get back to even. Now, instead, if I lose 10%, I only have to make 11% to get back to even, and everything above that is gravy. Where would I rather be, right? Pretty simple to say. Another thing that we talk about with scaling, it means targeting only the best time frames, markets, and plans. I gave you 5 roadmaps to do it. None of them say just keep trading, and don't stop on the day. We use something called power of quitting. In almost all of our day trading plans, we quit after one winner and a positive result. If we're not positive after the one winner, for whatever reason we started with a loss or two, we keep going until we hit a circuit breaker, which is typically time. And we only trade during the prime times. So you want to make that prime time window as small as possible. You want to decide if you're going to go for fixed targets or trailing, but that's what you want to do, power of quitting. And there's absolutely, quitting is not a bad thing. It's a bad word and a lot of other things, including in most other businesses. It's an amazingly powerful concept in trading. Scaling also means understanding the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Again, you got to understand drawdowns. You got to understand that markets do change. You have to understand that wins come in streaks, but so do losing streaks. You need to be set up correctly with the proper education so you'll survive and make it in this great business. Understand that you'll get a little paranoid at times. You'll think that the market is trying to pick off your stops. You all have thought that, me included. The trade psychology, how long until you kick the dog when you get so frustrated and you start doing things wrong. And you have to look at lifestyle, what's right for you. Again, it's not about just putting in all that time. It's certainly not about treating this like a gambling business or a gambling hobby. This is a business. When you start to gamble, which is what most people do in trading, they fail. So be successful in the business of trading, you have to realize 2 important things. You need to surrender to that which we have no control over, which, let's face it, when you put on a trade, you cannot influence what crude oil is going to do or what the euro US dollar is going to do. You can scream at your screen all you want, okay? You can pout, you can jump up and down, you can cheer it on. You have zero influence. What you want to do is put all your attention and energy into what we do have control over. And what is that? The entry, the exact target, the exact stop. Scaling also is not a marathon, okay? There's no reward for trading 24 hours a day. There's no award. Nobody's going to be that proud of you because you get up every morning at 1 in the morning, then 5 in the morning, then 9 in the morning, and you're in your office at 7 o'clock at night trying to make this work. It'll never work if that's what you do. In addition, if you think you can just take these tiny little scalps, it's not going to work either. You can't sprint. You can't marathon yourself to success. It's somewhere in the middle. It's one of the 5 ways that I showed you to scale. That's how you do it overall. So like I say, success starts with one market, one contract, one trade. Exact entries, exact exits, exact stops, proper risk management, a great order management system, speed of execution, eliminating mistakes, adhering to the plan, understanding your drawdowns, the ability to scale your account to new highs. This is why Premier Trader University has been so successful. One thing I always think about is franchises, right? A lot of people look at these, maybe even some of you own them. Why are they so successful in general, especially the established ones, right? Think of a McDonald's or something. They have an exact system to replicate. They have already proven their business plan. The best franchises operate schools. They offer education. You literally come to, right, their university to learn everything about their systems. They offer great support ongoing. They continually innovate with new offerings, whether it's a new burger or a new service or a new whatever. The best ones continue to innovate with the market, and they can all be expanded and scaled once you get one operating successfully. That's why the biggest have 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 units, because they can be scaled. We work with the exact same principle. You have to have great systems that are proven, amazing training, absolutely have to have ongoing support, and development never should stop, right? Markets do change. Things do alter themselves, so that ongoing commitment needs to keep going. All you have to start with, however, is one market, one contract, and then start to deploy one of the 5 ways or multiple of the 5 ways that I showed you to scale, and that's how you can grow your business to really as far as you want it to go. Absolutely full-time incomes, part-time incomes, retirement accounts. You can do all of that if you just start with one. Let's go to some charts. I want to show you the systems a little bit here. I'll show you this part in a moment. So let's just start with, well, this happens to be a heating oil contract. And I'm actually going to go back. This was Friday's trade, but I think I'm going to try to find a little different setup here during the week. That was Tuesday, I believe. All right, so here's Monday. All right, so a couple things that I want you to look for. Remember when I told you that everything is what I call what you see is what you trade? When I show you my charts and then Troy shows you his in a couple minutes here, notice how everything is extremely visual. All right, so I'm going to bring up a data window. Like I said, this is heating oil. Every single market I show you will look exactly the same. We're looking for a few things. The first thing is we have this indicator called the trend power indicator down below. It goes from red to green right here. When it turns green, that's when I can start to look for a buy. But this system is looking for a couple extra things. You notice this bar here is red, and then this one turns green. When that turns green, what does it do? It sets up an exact entry price, 3.0255. And this is not black box. You're going to know, I'm giving you a couple of the rules, the trend power changing, the bar color changing, being above these exponential moving averages, and then this is all based upon range bars. Okay, in this case, these bars are all 28 ticks in length, and you will get a special formula that you'll know how to change this once per week. This is how this stays incredibly dynamic no matter what happens to trading ranges and volatility. But notice how on this trade I had my exact entry and my exact target. Target 2 right here, 3.0339. Now I know it's a little weird. This is almost like a Forex currency pair, the way that it goes out 4 ticks. That's 84 ticks. Bottom line, it's 84 points, it's 84 ticks, however you like to think of it. And each tick in this market is worth a little bit over $4. So when I get to a full target, I've made about $300 $350, right? So when this thing hits target, I made $350, right? How long did it take? I entered at 10:36 Eastern. My time here is 9:36. I'm in the Central Standard. And I'm done 10 minutes later. I made $350, right? Minus, of course, my commission that I would have here. Now, we talked about scaling. Remember, what if we were trading 2 contracts? You would have made $700, right? What if I'm trading 3 contracts? You made $1,050. Did it take any more time to trade 1, 2, or 3? More than 10 minutes? None at all, right? Now, not every trade's going to go 10 minutes. Not everyone's going to go to full target, but it's extremely visual, right? That was Monday. Just to scroll really quickly. Here we had a trade on Tuesday where we came very close to the target, just missed, but we had our stop be moved up, and we ended up with a very small profit on the day, on Tuesday. So moving along, I think we actually had a no trade day here on Wednesday, as you can see. Then on Thursday, I know I'm going a little quick, but same thing. Look at this short. So we just showed you a long. Short entry price, 3.0824. You're going to get that in advance. In fact, you're going to know well in advance that that trade is setting up just by knowing the system. Even better, on the chart, it's programmed to know every single setup. So even if you forget a rule, you forget that there's actually a short setting up, it will always plot on your screen without fail religiously every single time there's a valid setup. 3.0824, it'll immediately project the target at 3.0740. There's a first target too where we do some money management, and this one also goes to full target, and again we make that approximate $350. All right, and then on Friday it looks very similar, right? We had a trade here at 9:02 and we were out at 9:07. Really great week in this case on heating oil. Again, I'm not here to tell you that every market goes this way every single time, but I want you to look at a few things here. I'm going to scroll through some of our trade plans, and I'm going to move this over a little bit so I can, in case it gets buried a bit. This is the week's profits on one contract. Remember what I said about scaling, right? You can scale additional contracts. Start thinking about 2, 3, 4 contracts. Not day one, but as you build your account and that capital plan spreadsheet lets you see what you can do with this. You know, again, here's crude oil, $600 on the week. Here's silver futures, which had a ridiculously great week, $2,200 on the week on just 7 trades, by the way. And not everyone was profitable. It's not a perfect week. It's really good, but excellent result. Now, not every market's going to be successful on a given week. Russell E-mini, only 4 trades, ended up down $50. Mostly our trade on Friday, we ended up losing. But look at the trade on Friday. It went nowhere. There was just no opportunity, unfortunately, at all. Not a big deal because that happens. Soybeans also on the week, lost $250. But, you know, the week before, made $875. So we're not going to be successful every day, every week. But over the course of weeks, we should be having definite, consistent success. Natural gas, $920. Again, remember, this is all off of one contract this past week. Eurobond for my European, Australia, etc. traders, $499, 5 out of 6 trades successful. Here's the S&P Mini. Whoops, that got hit in there. Pretty good, well, actually really good for the S&P, $375, one contract. Lots of scale available right in that market. The DAX Futures, $4, woohoo, yay for us. All right, so not that much this past week, but we only had about 4 trades. You know, the week before, 214, and then a little bit of a loss there. It's a little bit up and down, but this is the DAX in the U.S. session. So can't hit it every single time, right? I'm trying to be directly honest and straightforward with you. Here's the EUROBUXL, which is a bit of an interesting market, $737, you know, on the week. We'll end it here with an unleaded gas, $949, but we had 2 unleaded gas plans. Not both of them were successful. One actually lost a little bit, $361. The other one made almost $1,000. So it just depended a bit where you were. And then, of course, heating oil, $1,000, $1,100. Most of the markets successful. Most of the markets with really great profits. Most of them, well, all of them, extremely scalable. And the same goes for Forex, right? The Euro-Yen had a ridiculously good week, probably one of the best weeks I've seen, up over $3,300 just this past week, trading one standard pair. Obviously, you may not be trading a standard pair. You may be trading a few minis, so you scale that on down to your account. But really great success because we just caught this incredible run, as you can see. And this all happened towards the end of the week. You know, we had a short that hit a stop, but then, you know, target, 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 target. Really great result all the way up. And it goes across the board that way. You know, that's swing trading the Euro-Yen. We could look at swing trading the EURUSD on the week. Very good, $1,700 practically. We could look at swing trading the EURUS. In this case, probably I don't think quite as good on the week. Actually, it's a different chart here. I'll show you that one in a moment. That's our new breakout strategy, actually. So I'll find the other one here in a sec. Here it is. This one down $745 versus up $3,300 and up $1,700. So you have a little bit of that as well. EuroCAD is another very good swing trade market. Let's see how we did on the week. Up $1,300, overall. Really nice end to the week. So excellent results in multiple currency pairs, but you notice on the futures market and the Forex market, just like I showed you, exact entries, exact exits, all based upon the trend power, the moving averages, and what we call this trade calculator. And the power of using these range bars is why this is just so effective. Now I want to hand this off to Troy. I don't want to take too much time, which I'm already probably taking a lot of time, but this is our brand new breakout trade that's being released with this class this month. We're so excited about this trade. This was, for instance, the unleaded gas trades. Well, actually, I'm going to scroll forward and show you what it looks like. Same situation. You get a setup. Do you think you can handle this trade when in advance you're given the entry of 2.744 and the target and the stop? So your job is to place the trade and then let the market do what it's going to do and hopefully hit target. I think you can handle that, right? If the setup comes up like this, you go ahead and you place that entry, the target, and the stop. And if it doesn't trigger, what do? You cancel it and you place the new short and you're giving everything. And then this short changes a little bit. So your job there is just to do a cancel replace and just raise the stop entry price up a little bit. And then ultimately it triggers and goes to target. It works the exact same way on Forex. We had 5 out of 7 trades this week hit target. Each trade made about 40 pips. So you're up about 100, I think it was 128 pips just this week, and not having to be perfect. 5 wins, 2 losses, everything as visual as you can get on the chart. Troy, let me hand it off to you.
All right, great. I am inspired by what you just showed me again, as usual. I want to show you, and I think you can see my charts now, right? I want to show you 2 of my favorite tools that I like to use, and then I think before I get started, I just want to re-emphasize some of the points you made, Mark, on that first slide and just how they all kind of connect together. I mean, one of the things you were illustrating with all those examples is how important it is to have an edge in the market. I mean, that's really the way we make money as a trader. I mean, we're in business to make money. You showed us some individual sessions and even a few weekly totals that took some losses, but you know what? That's just going to happen. We know that already. It doesn't matter because the business itself is making money over time just by keeping small risk and continuing to execute our trade plan. And so as the equity grows, inside of that growing equity, there's going to be some losses. You just got to get through them to get to the winners. And that's what the edge is. It's putting the odds in your favor on every trade, trading with small risk, and then allowing the odds to work in your favor and ultimately swing back around and make you money, just like the casino does. Okay, so the other things I want to emphasize is the need to be consistent, right? You have to be able to consistently make money. That's your edge. But you also have to be able to consistently execute a trade plan and diligently follow the plan. You can't do that if you don't minimize your time in the market. You're not going to be Iron Man every single day. It's just not possible. We're not made of iron, right? We're made of other organic material that seems to break down over time. So it all connects, all right? And then also you illustrated structure. Structure on the chart, the ability to know exactly where to get in, where to get out, whether it's a loss or a gain, but we know in advance, okay? So with all that in mind, I want to show you the trend jumper because a trend jumper has built into its very philosophy all those things, okay? Let me start with the trade right in the middle here because it's easy to see, and I just want to illustrate how this works. First of all, what Trend Jumper is seeking to do is find immediate support and resistance levels from which to jump off of. like springing off of a trampoline, okay? And sometimes with shorts, it's almost like jumping out of an airplane because those can really move fast, and we want to catch those, okay? So that's the principle behind the trend jumper. And what it's going to do, it's going to show you exact entries, which is a little plus sign, just like you saw with PTU, exact targets, and an exact stop. Okay, and you know on every trade whether you're going to go long or short. The green dotted line, that's your jump line. So anytime you have a setup above it, you know you're going to go long. So you instantly eliminate 50% of all your trades. You're not going short, you're going long. It's a very easy decision. And you know where the entry is. By merely clicking on the bar over here in the data window, you can read the entry, the targets, stop, and they're all lined up in order of dots. Okay, so it's really easy to follow. Also, every trade has a really great risk-reward ratio. If that's your entry, that's your stop, this is what our risk is. And it's being dynamically adjusted and tuned to market conditions, because market conditions change bar after bar after bar, and so do the trend jumper setups. Okay? Well, look where the target is. It's way up here. So you're always risking this amount to make that amount. So you've got some other important components that are combined from the earlier slides that Mark showed you. Okay? Controlling your risk, controlling your drawdown, putting the odds in your favor. This is our edge. So the reason why I chose this particular market, it's the pound yen. I wanted to illustrate a few points, but it could be any market. Okay, this is a daily chart. Mark was talking about swing trading Forex. This is my very favorite way to trade Forex, and the reason why is because I only need to look at my charts once a day. The market closes, the bar closes, I have, time to think it through. I could place my trades. It only takes me a few minutes a day, and as a result, I could follow multiple markets and get the diversification that I want. It's a really great way to trade. I could also remove myself from the equation, because after I'm done, I just step away and I don't have to revisit the chart until tomorrow. So I don't have to like sweat it out pip after pip. Oh no, it's going up. Oh no, it's going down. No, I don't even care about that. Okay? I put on very small risk and just let it run. So I want to show you how, this is just a typical cycle in any market. Okay, we had a little bit of consolidation. It's starting to pick up steam a little. You can see the higher highs and the higher lows, and there's a mix of winners. Here's a trade. You can see the little plus signs hidden behind this indicator, but it's right there. That one was a winner. This one here didn't quite get there, stopped out. Down here, actually. Okay, the stop was down here. In the meantime, I was able to even add to my position, and that one also took a loss. And then this one was real bad luck because it just barely stopped out. And then it went to full target. I wish I can turn the clock back and know that in advance, but I can't. Okay, every now and then, you're just going to have a bad luck trade. Then this one happened, and this one actually was a break-even trade. The stop moved down here because of a little rule I use when it butts up against this pink line, okay? But then all of a sudden, it was, November 19th, and this trade happened. And I got to move these lines out of the way because, well, first of all, let me just illustrate again the risk-reward ratio, just so you can easily see it as I go forward, okay? You go in with two positions. One is going to come out at the third target. The other one you're going to trail. You could build your position as you go because the risk-reward is so great, and if you just treat each trade individually, you could put on your 2% risk here, your 2% risk on each one of these, and you could just ride it all the way up. And here's the risk-reward ratio on the original trade. You can see that target. But all of this, I'm going to flip over to another chart I marked up just to kind of show you, added up to nearly 3,000 pips. And when I did this, that was when this trade was just triggering in. And since then, this trade stop has moved up to here. You can see it's at break even. I was able to add to my position and actually pick up a full target here for another 322 pips. And this is taking advantage of what Mark mentioned. I think maybe some of you may have missed it, but 1 to 3 times a year you can count on a Forex market to really explode and make a major move. And so when you have a strategy like this where you have everything controlled with the odds in your favor, with the small risk, and the structure that tells you when to get in, when to get out, how to manage everything, in this case it's just a matter of following the dots, you can really build a monster position and take advantage of those major moves that happen 1 to 3 times a year. And remember, I'm only doing this at the end of each day, a few minutes a day, and I'm putting on such small risk per trade that I could sleep at night, because I know if I take a loss, it's inconsequential to my overall trade capital. Now, is that a smart way to run a business? It is. And this is, you could scale this, because I might not make a fortune on 3,000 pips with, you know, a 5 micro lot, okay? But remember the capital spreadsheet, the growth sheet that Mark showed you. What about in the second year? Maybe I'm not trading 5 micros anymore. You know, maybe I'm up to 5 minis. And what about the third year? I could be up to 5 full-size lots, and that's not even a big trade in the world of Forex. But that's big money, you know, for an individual like me, or like anybody really. That's a lot of money, right? It's all scalable. So whether I'm showing you the pound yen, whether I'm showing you crude oil or futures or stocks, doesn't matter. You could cover up the symbol. It's still going to look just like this. Buyers and sellers, red bars, green bars, and the setups that let you spring off and jump off of the near-term support and resistance for quick and dependable profits, but then also the ability and the trade plan to go with to ride it up for those big explosive moves. You kind of get the best of both worlds. So one more tool I want to show, Mark, before I hand it off to you. This to me is my second most important tool, and it's my pre-programmed spreadsheet. I use this to log my trades and to learn from my trades and to gather data. I could use it to back test, to forward test, and to put in all the real trades. Okay, so I've got a sample of 4 different futures markets here, but remember, it doesn't matter what the symbol is. I just kind of wanted to show you the difference, whether you're starting with, say, 5,000 or 6,000 or maybe 25,000, the power of money management. Okay, so let's see. I think I'll start with my favorite market, which are wheat futures. And the reason why I love these is because I could start later in the day, near the end. You know, I call a live trade room. It's hard to trade and call a live trade room. But at the end of the day, the end of the session, I can start trading wheat, okay? And it only takes me 1 minute to maybe 30 minutes a day. It's such a dynamic market. And so I want to show you how I've put on, I've started with a $7,500, you know, account. Okay, I think that's pretty doable. I'm risking 3% per position. Maybe that's a little aggressive because it amounts to a 6% risk per trade. Maybe I could justify it, though, because it's just such a hot market. It's winning just most of the time, okay? And so if I were to just trade with 1 contract each, I would have grown my account to $12,000 since November 5th, and that's taking into account some trade costs. But what if I applied a 3% risk factor and took those identical trades scaling up as my account grew? Okay, well, with this tool I could click this button and it's going to run the study, and I already did that to save some time, so I'll just flip over here and show you how it looks. I would have traded up to 5 contracts per position on the exact same trades, and instead of my account growing from 7,500 to 12,000, it would have grown from 7,500 to 20,000. Exact same trades, just by merely following a simple money management plan. Okay, it's just super powerful. This is a lot of great information in here. I could show you this more. I don't really have time for that. I just want to show you a few more examples, and I'm going to hand this back to Mark because this is really compelling stuff. What if you have a smaller account? Okay, maybe you trade the Dowie Mini. You have $6,000 to start with. You're going to allow yourself to trade up to 10 contracts per position, and I'm applying a slightly less risk, 2.5%, based on the average losing trade, okay, of $57 per trade. This is a small risk trade plan. Well, starting from the same date, November 5th, you would have grown your account from $6,000 to $8,000. Okay, maybe it's not a lot of money, but it's smaller risk. You have to give yourself a chance to ramp up your business. But if you applied the 2.5%, you can see that it's starting to grow a little quicker. I click over to my other window here, and you could see that instead of growing it from 8,000, you would have scaled up to 4 contracts by now, just since November 5th. And your account would have grown to $11,000. The identical trades. Okay, am I working any harder? I'm not, right? So let me show you crude oil, because this is a very popular market. It's one of our favorite markets to trade. And this is starting with $10,000 and allowing ourselves to grow to 10 contracts, okay? And I click over here, and I'm showing you a slightly different look, okay? Well, first of all, you would have traded up to 6 contracts. Instead of making almost 24 grand, you would have made $47,000. The exact same trades. That's risking 2% per position. But what I want to show you is another way to look at it. Okay, the blue line is your equity curve with just trading a single position or a single contract per position, and you can see that it went from $10,000 up to about, almost 25,000. Okay, now with the green line, you look on the right side. So you start with the $10,000 and look how it's a little more dramatic. You get a little more deeper drawdown and stuff, but it's consistently growing even through the holiday season where, you kind of had a little bit of drawdown, but then it just jumped right up. And it's just touching its all-time profit levels again. It's a little bit below its all-time profit levels, pushing on $50,000. This will break up and go higher. We just have to be patient. And another cool way to look at it is the scaling in and out of position size. You start out here with 1 contract, but as your account grows, you're adding contracts here. And then you got to take some off, add some, take some off, right? You even took some off all the way down to here again. It's come off a little, it's gone up a little, but it started with 1 contract. It's grown to 6. It'll continue to grow. You just got to stay with it. If you are quitting during the drawdown, you're missing the point. You're not letting the odds work in your favor, and you're not taking advantage of your edge in the market. You're not being a good business owner. You got to open your doors for business. Even your favorite pizza parlor is going to have a slow period where they're just going to be sitting in the restaurant waiting for customers, and customers aren't going to show up. That doesn't mean they're going to quit, not open their doors tomorrow. Okay, you got to think like that. All right, so hopefully you've kind of gained another way of looking at it. I've been able to share the way I look at it, and if it helps some of you, great. Mark, I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy. That was super examples both in Forex and futures, and just kind of really gives you that idea like we're trying to say. You got to start small. One of the things we always say here, 40 bucks a day, average profit, it's all you need to achieve all these things. But the one thing you have to have, of course, is what we're calling, becoming a lifestyle trader. You have to have a complete education and great trading strategies, no matter what your financial goals are. So that's the whole purpose behind us developing the curriculum and the Premier Trader University. And it works very much in a 3-step process. And I'm going to take you through each step, just what the highlights are, the prerequisites, the undergraduate, and the major. And think of this just like any university or any school. When you initially enroll in the PTU, assuming you enroll today, you'll immediately start on the home study portion of it, all video course based, and it covers all the real highlights of what we want everybody to have before we get to the live undergraduate training, which actually is going to happen here real soon this month. And the goal is to make sure that everybody's on the same page, no matter what your experience level is right now. If you're advanced, you'll go through this quickly. If you're a beginner, you're going to want to go through all of it, but you're going to have time to do it because we're going to teach you about really what matters in successful trading, not all the additional fluff and things that don't mean anything to you. Pros and cons of each market and style of trading, picking the best brokers, the best charting platforms, setting all of that up, software and hardware requirements. Absolutely, we're system-based, so technical analysis is important, but 99% of what you get in most charting platforms is not going to help you and is going to be worthless to you. So we're only going to focus on what you need to know. A huge part, as you can see, based upon this training today, is all about risk and money management, right? Teaching you these concepts in much more detail is going to be what's going to turn this into that business for you. And then making sure you can handle what we showed you a little bit, the dark sides, the drawdowns, the losses. We don't hide from those. I'm not trying to, talk around those and only showing you, winners. I mean, I hope you noticed that it's a little different about what we do here at NetPicks and the PTU versus maybe our competition. I mean, we're trying to be realistic, but still you're going to get to that goal in the end. And certainly our experience, we've been doing this for 17 years. The coaching team, we put together all of our experience, 100 plus years. This is all of what we've sort of poured into this prerequisite part of the course. Once you get through that, you're then going to go ahead and attend our live online trading. So comfort of your home or office, just like you are now. You don't need to come to us. No big, going through airports and TSA and security and pat downs. Home or office. It's a live 2-day. Wherever you are, you can do this. We also record the whole thing, so don't worry if you ever miss a portion of it or have to take a break or anything. The whole idea behind the undergrad is intensive, 2 days. We do it quick, as you can see, and you're going to learn and master the strategies. When you finish the undergraduate, you're going to be able to trade the PTU2 and the PTU Trend Jumper systems. You're going to master trade management, all of the art of trading, things like key levels and chart levels, which may or may not mean something to you. It will mean a lot to you when we get through the undergraduate training. How to choose the best market to trade. Remember, one market, one contract, right? That's where you start. That's the mantra, and then you scale. So we're going to help you choose that best market with the one contract, one market. Of course, risk and trade plans. Once you go through the undergraduate, then you move into the majors. But you're already trading live, and the idea behind the majors is to really start to fine-tune and to specialize. This is self-paced, so you can start the major anytime you want. You can be trading and spending some time doing that and building your account, and then at the same time you can start to go through some of the specific training in Forex or futures or stock and options. It's broken down into each one, and it takes advanced techniques, all of our great trade plans, which you'll have access to, and really just refine. Just think about taking your business and just starting to turn the dials a little bit to start to really power up the bottom line, to tweak a few things and improve your win-loss ratio, to adjust and lower your drawdowns. That's everything that's going to happen for you in the majors, and we'll focus specifically this time. So in the undergrad, we talk about futures, we talk about Forex, we talk about stock and options. In the majors, we'll hyper-focus on just futures in that module, just Forex in its module, and just stock and options in that one. And they're all a little bit different. The strategies themselves are the same, which is great, but the way these markets behave is a little different across the board. And you receive access to all three majors. This is, by the way, an all-inclusive enrollment. So everything we're talking about, everything you see during this presentation is what you will receive. Now, training, I think, is hugely important. I like to show this slide because the first column that says PTU system is taking our systems and just mechanically, if you just follow what was on the screen, like I showed you, like Troy showed you, you could see you'd get great results, right? Those are good results. But if you add also what we teach you in the undergraduate and the major, and you take those same mechanical setups and you add the education element to it, now suddenly you're going to make 32% to 84% more performance. It's like a franchise, right? They just send you the manual. You should probably do right if you just follow that manual. But if you actually attend and go to, right, a franchise unit that's up and operational, and then you go to take and see what you learn, and then apply that to your business, how much better are you going to do? It works the exact same way. And I would much rather spend no additional time and bump my profits 32%. The results are already there. We've showed you a lot of results. I want to take these little 6-week snapshots because I want you to be thinking, how quickly can I get a return on my investment? Because that's important. You want a return on your time, and you want a return on your investment in the PTU. And I expect you to want that and demand that. You should. I think when you see the numbers here, should be no problem. And this is just over a short amount of time. We're talking about building a multi-year business, a trading dynasty for yourself, not about a few weeks or a few days. But I understand you want to feel like you're quickly getting to those goals. And that's just the beginning. These results are just based on the mechanical. This is not when you implement the training and the education. Some results that Troy had given me, again, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this because it's just, I've shown it over and over. I showed you just in this past week what we've been able to accomplish, but some really great results in basically any market we look at, especially if we can look at it over a series of time, a week, up to a few weeks, a few months. We're only going to have trade plans and put you into markets that we know are working and are successful and are making money. And the truth of the matter is, there's way too many markets for you to trade as one person. That's the best place to be. The worst place to be as a trader is to have nothing that's working. The best place to be as a trader is to have too many things that are working. That's a real luxury, and that's the place that you're going to be. The Forex results that when Troy was showing you on the trend jumper, again, really great results, but you don't need to pick, this is an important thing about scaling, which currency pair in 2013 is going to be the best. Because maybe last year was the euro-yen in 2012, and maybe it will be in 2013. But the ability to scale and grow your business means you don't need to pick the one pair. None of us really know necessarily maybe what stock, what option, what single trade is going to be the great trade of the year. The idea is to scale and replicate over and over again. We've had great feedback. We've already been through, I believe, 4 undergraduate classes with great success. We have all kinds of people out there trading the systems. Paul, first-class product, best package you've offered. Frank, very complete, found the support very helpful. Dimitri, still can't thank you enough for what you have done for me and have meant to me. And these comments for us, we get these in almost every day, mean a lot to us. Believe me, it keeps us motivated. Maurice, fantastic, thoroughly put together and super informative. I look forward to working with PTU and NetPicks for a long time. Adnan says, the only system in the world that I've ever come across that I can intellectually be comfortable with to trade. And that was somebody who's invested a ridiculous amount of money on systems and training and has not had any success until this point. And now he's having success. And a lot of it, I think he makes a great point, is because he has trust and faith in the system. Randy's somebody who's trading full-time now, has actually been staked with other people's money, which is even better. So he's actually trading professionally not only for himself, but with a trading firm's capital. So growing the business that much faster. So perfect example of the ability to scale. Now, I know there's some of you in here who are on Trend Jumper already. I want to tell you that when you enroll into the university, you make that upgrade, you guys get some really great stuff. So if you're already on Trend Jumper, and I know I'm not speaking to all of you, but some of you, there's the advanced trading calculator that does really all the intelligence from stop movements to trade management to scaling to trailing. You've seen it in the live rooms. This is what you get by being part of the university. We're going to have additional trading plans. Automation is coming out later this month. It's only available for people who are enrolled inside the university. We're going to be adding stock and options with Trend Jumper, some new setups, and we have much more expansive classes in education, in particular on things like Trade Assist, optimization, stock and options, when the new setups come out and new plans. Lots of great stuff for you guys. And if you're not Trend Jumper owner right now, well, great, because you get all of this in addition to the Trend Jumper. So when is the class? Let's talk about the specifics. January 22nd and 23rd. The first thing you do when you enroll today is just start to go through the home study. It's Saturday, don't worry about it today, but start going through it. You can go through it at a leisurely pace. You still have, what, about 10 days, perfect timing. You will get through it all, no problem, and you'll be ready to go. You'll be ready and raring to go, trust me, on the 22nd. And try to attend live. If you can't, we record it all. We post it typically by later that day, and you can stream it, replay it, all to your schedule. When you finish, again, this is this month, you'll start trading the systems. I mean, absolutely. And then you can start to focus on the major programs. Start those at your own pace. You want to start them right away this month? Great. If you want to trade for a little while, that's perfect too. Now, we've got some really great extras that, again, remember, this is all inclusive. So everything I show you, you will receive. You, of course, get the PTU Trend Jumper systems, which Troy showed you. You're also going to not have any monthly recurring, which they do if they buy outside of the university. I'm going to give you 2 private one-on-one coaching sessions, and we do live in the market training every single week, and you get that for as long as we do it. There is no ongoing recurring, and without question, we've got the best support in the business, supported by people who actually trade, who all actually were former students of ours, so there's no better people to learn from and be supported by. We just started in January. This is up and running. We were doing 2 days a week live. We now do 4 days a week live in the market. Again, remember what I said? How a huge component of this is the education, the support, the ability to interact. You get to come to a live trading room where trades are actually happening, and we're actually setting up and placing the trades as they occur. There is no greater way to learn and to master trading. And we're starting Thursday, so this is no longer coming soon. Thursday, we're starting 2 sessions a week in the European market hours as well. So you have U.S. hours, European hours, great for traders then anywhere in the world. And we've got our new full-time trader, full-time successful trader, James Kessick, who's got incredible things that he's going to share with you and also be trading and monitoring, showing you the systems. All of this is included in the P2 enrollment. In addition, if you happen to trade stocks or futures, you'll have the ability to, if you go with TradeStation, to get an entire 100% tuition reimbursement scholarship. They will pay you over just placing trades up to 100% of the entire PTU tuition fee. So you have that available to you, and everybody has available to them, whether you take advantage of that or not, 6 months free or up to $500 in commission rebates. So you can actually get this amazing platform. You don't have to be on TradeStation, but it's definitely one to seriously consider, and NinjaTrader, of course, being the other great opportunity in this area. So overall, a $17,972 value. You get everything we've shown you, all the systems, all the indicators, all the trade plans that give you everything exact, entries, targets, stops, all the trade rules, the exact time to start, the exact time to end, the exact power of quitting. You don't need to invent the wheel, reinvent the wheel, figure it all out for yourself, lose a bunch of money. We've done all that for you. That's our job. That's what you have hired us to do, and that's what's done inside the PTU. You get the home study, the 2 days of undergraduate, all 3 of the majors, all the trade plans into more markets than you'll ever need, but that, again, is a huge luxury. The Trend Jumper exclusives, the coaching sessions, the live in the market trading every week, U.S. and European, and lifetime, no recurring. That's going to change this year. We've already talked about that. After this January class, I believe we're going to change the model on that and start to have some recurring charges. This is a great way to get grandfathered in, because at this point we're not going to do it with anybody who enrolls up to this point, and of course the best support in the business. So the big question is, how much does all of this cost? If you're brand new to NetPicks, a one-time, all-in, all-complete, all-inclusive, $39.97, or do a 4-pay of just $9.99. If you already own any other NetPicks course, we'll give you a full $1,000 rebate and drop it down to $29.97, or just do a 4-pay of $7.49. If you already own the Trend Jumper, because we promised we would do this last month, this may be the last time we're going to do this, we're going to take an additional $9.97 off, everything you paid, fully apply it to this, give you the family discount, and drop you down to just $2,000. Really great overall. And I have one extra little bonus for you here I'm going to show you in a moment that's going to drop this even a bit more, just for you guys being loyal here and being here live today. We're down to 9 seats. We started with 30. The class starts, as you know, in about 12 days, down to the final 9. We've done 2 of these webinars, this being the 3rd one. You know, grab one of the remaining seats is my suggestion to you. All inclusive, everything's included. We absolutely do have a 100% risk-free guarantee. All I ask is you go through the prereq, you attend the classes, you install the indicators, and take some trades. They don't even have to be with real money. They can be with demo. You'll never, ever want to give this back if you do that, and that's why that's all I'm asking you. If you do that and you say, nope, not for me, I've done these things, let me show you, you can get a 100% refund on the system, so, and the education and the training. But you already will learn a whole bunch, but we want to make sure that you understand going into this, it is truly risk-free. For attending live, we did this for the first 2. It was really kind of neat to do it. A lot of you took advantage of it. I'm going to offer it again. This is the last time. It's going to be $500. Today's Saturday's webinar. The next one we do later this week. will be for a lower amount. So again, good timing for all of you. When you check out, select the code 1213. Should be a little pull down, or type in the code if you need to, and you'll be able to get an additional $500 off all the prices I just showed you. So how do you get started? This is how you get started. If you're brand new to NetPicks, please go to netpicks.com/PTUnew. Right? That's the $39.97, but if you prepay, it drops down to $34.97. You get the $500 discount only while we're talking here. Or you can just do a 4-pay. And the 4-pay has no interest, no additional upcharge like a lot of people do. We just divided it by 4, and that's what we charge you. But if you prepay, you get the additional $500. Family discount, netpicks.com/PTUfamily. You saved $1,000 plus the $500. So you're saving $1,500 off the usual price. You drop all the way down to $24.97, or you can do the 4-pay and just start with $740, I think $49. If you currently own the Trend Jumper, we have a special link for you. You guys get to go in at $2,000 minus the $500, which will let you take advantage of, dropping you all the way down to just the $1,500. All in, all inclusive. These are the links. So I'm going to leave these up for a second here. I'm going to pull them down for a moment, show you something else, and then we're going to start also answering unanswered questions. All paid in full, receive the discount, and receive everything that we've described. Again, remind yourself, how quickly can I return on the investment? Because if I'm in your shoes, that's what I want to hear about. I see the systems are great. I see that these guys have been around for 17 years. I see that things are crystal clear on the chart. That's what I want. I want the ability to trade these markets. I absolutely want the ability to scale. Right? I don't want to just be trading $300 like a Forex robot, and suddenly when I put a little bit more money in, it doesn't work. Those are all things I would want if I'm in your shoes. You also have the risk-free guarantee. So we're saying we're going to prove to you that this works. You'll never let us take it back. Trust me. So we have all that as well, so you don't have that risk, and you clearly see the path to getting your money back and making multiples of that investment. And we've shown you 5 great ways in this webinar how to scale your account and how to do it with no additional time, or how to do it with just a little bit of additional time if you choose that path, and how to get to the point where you grow your equity to a size that you're going to want to be able to get into swing trading or into stock and options. You're going to have all of that inside of the PTU. I think those are the things that are the most powerful messages that we want you guys to be thinking about here. So let's switch over. I know that Brian's been answering a lot of questions. I know we've got 9 seats left. We got this great $500 discount, so I'm going to let you all make your decisions there and hopefully be enrolling, but I'm sure there are some questions that are unanswered. So Brian, if you're available on the mic, maybe first thing, are there any questions that you need to answer for everybody before I start to pick some off that maybe have not been answered yet?
Yes, Mark, and there are a few questions. I do need to make an announcement on the Trend Jumper individuals that use that link. Unfortunately, the code is not available to enter on that. So here's how we're going to handle it today. If you sign up under the TJ link, it's going to charge you the $29, I think, roughly. Whatever the discount is that you should have gotten on that, we will credit back to your credit card. I apologize for that. That does get taken down after our webinars, and so it's not active at this point. So again, that's how we'll handle that. No worries, and we'll make sure you get that special discount. So let's go through a few questions here. The questions have been very active this morning. You guys are up and awake. I'm a little bit surprised on a Saturday, but it's been a lot of good questions. So I want to go through a few of these, and if I miss any of these questions, or if Mark, as he's answering them, we miss your question, we want to make sure you walk away today with your question answered. So Rick, you've been very active in the chat, a lot of questions asked by you, so I want to get through a few of your questions here. And so first of all, and maybe Troy, if you're on the line, a few of these were for you, so I'm going to kind of direct them your way. But Troy, when you were showing Trend Jumper, Rick was asking what the lines were on the chart that you had. Also, in the same question there, how do we determine the risk on each trade? So maybe you can speak to that. And then he was wondering about scaling in, how that works. Do we scale in when the trade is, when the market's moving in our favor, or when the market's moving against us? So just a few questions there for you, Troy, if you want to answer those.
Okay, I'm not sure what he means by what are the lines. I mean, we're using a combination of some moving averages and then a couple very special, unique indicators, the jump line being one of them. That's actually the main core indicator. That was that green dotted line, and then there's a confirmation line as well. So we obviously teach exactly what that is when we get into the training. As far as determining the risk on the trade, I mean, I showed you how by merely clicking on the setup, you were able to see your entry and your stop, and of course your targets. So if you subtract the stop from the entry, you're going to be able to see exactly what the risk is. So, but usually it's really simple because you can do it in your head. It's basically, you're risking pretty much the length of the bar itself plus a few ticks on either side. So it's pretty simple and very visual. And then the final question is it's going to give you setups as the price momentum is increasing in the direction of your trade. So you're not scaling in as you're losing money. In fact, you're probably going to stop out before that would ever happen. Remember, the risk is very tight and very contained. So the whole idea is to take advantage of price momentum increasing in the direction of your trade. If that didn't answer the questions, he could maybe Rick can follow up.
Yep. Another question that's been pretty active here in the chat, as Mark showed that worksheet at the beginning, which is a very powerful worksheet, by the way. I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't take much on a per trade basis to have a very successful trading business, and it's interesting to kind of play with those numbers, and hopefully it'll motivate you to become a successful trading and set up a successful trading business. That spreadsheet will be emailed out to you. So we'll be getting that out probably sometime on Monday. Again, this is the weekend, and our staff, some of our staff, not available today, but we'll get that out to you so that you can kind of play around with that worksheet. Again, it's an awesome tool. Another common question here, excuse me, in being asked is, what platforms do we support at the university? And very simply, the answer to that is TradeStation and NinjaTrader. So those are the two charting platforms that we support the indicators on. And that doesn't mean that you can't utilize another broker to actually make your trade. So keep that in mind. You can make your charting decision at Ninja and place your trade with another broker. And if the calls are coming in right now, you hear the phone in the background, it's going to be a little bit till I can get to that phone, so apologize for that. And let's see, some other questions here.
Hey, Brian, maybe welcome. I see a few people who have enrolled already. Timothy O, I don't know if I'll say the name right, but Rao J and Marianne D, it looks like. So welcome to the three of you. There probably are a few more, but those are the first few that came in.
All right, awesome. Welcome to you guys. Kerry just asked this question: what kind of risk-reward ratio can be achieved in futures? So, Kerry, most of our trade plans that we have inside the university go for a 1-to-1, or in some cases maybe a little more, risk-to-reward ratio. And so, as long as you're winning, that winning edge that you have is in the 65 to 70% range, which is where we like to be at, that gives you a winning combination. So that's where things typically are at with our trade plans.
Well, don't forget, too, in Trend Jumper, you're actually 2-to-1 on your ratio, and a number of the plans have money management that will kick in. And so even if you start at 1-to-1, you'll be able to quickly lower that down as well.
Yep. Rick asking a question here, what futures brokers do we recommend, and what Forex brokers do we recommend? So I'm going to start out by saying we are not affiliated with any brokers, and we want to be really careful in that regard. I will share with you the broker that I use, and I know the broker that Mark uses. That doesn't mean that we're recommending them, but there are reasons why, and I think the answer to that question is unique for each individual, first of all. But I personally trade at TradeStation. I've got my account there, and it's just made sense for me to utilize them in my futures trading. I know Mark uses Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is a great option because with them you can set up one account and trade futures, forex, stock, and options all from a single account. So that's the benefit of using them. When it comes to forex, there's a lot of different options out there for you to trade spot forex. I'm really not going to get into any recommendations there.
Well, you have brokers like Awanda, which a lot of people like, and there's some you can look also in futures and stock and options. I think or Swim, TradeStation, of course. If you check with NinjaTrader, we have some amazing deals set up with AMP Futures, where you can get commissions down to like $3.30 a round turn in futures, which is crazy low. I mean, it's wholesale basically. And like Brian said, we're not compensated at all by any broker. So anytime we give you a suggestion, we don't do it because we're somehow financially motivated. It's just because either we personally or we have customers who are happy at those places.
Okay. And Mark, I'm going to pose this question to you. Rick's been asking this question a number of times. He's asking, is Warren Buffett an investor or is he a trader?
Well, I mean, he's both. I mean, he's an investor and a trader. I mean, he's obviously a long-term buy and holder, clearly, but you're still trading because you're looking for, in his case, he looks for obviously tremendous value, but the scale that Warren Buffett's at, I mean, he can't get that excited about trading 5 crude oil contracts like we can. So, right, exactly. For us to make $2,000 in a day on a market, that's awesome. It's a little different when you're managing many billions of dollars. I know there's some questions here too about automated trading and things of that nature. Obviously, everything we teach you is to actually empower yourself to take the trades, but we are releasing tools later this month inside the university that will enable people to automate some of the process, especially if you're not able to be at the screen. So those are things that we'll be making available, along with the education to, of course, use all that responsibly and correctly.
Okay, at this point, if we've missed your question, go ahead and get that in. A lot of them have flowed in, and it's a little bit difficult to filter through most of these, but I think we've pretty much either answered them via text or on the mic here at this point again. So if we've missed your question, go ahead and get that in there.
I see some more here, Brian, so I'm going to jump in and pick up a couple more just real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I know there's some questions about the spreadsheet, the replay, so we will email that out. Costs that you have per month for using TradeStation, you can get the platform for free if you fund it, and then you may just have some minimal exchange fees, and of course you'll have commissions if you're on the futures side of it. If you're on the forex side, you just have your spread costs overall. To Adam, where can you learn more about Trend Jumper, things of that nature? You can absolutely anytime go to the PremierTraderUniversity.com website, and you can learn about certainly about the. There's a whole bunch of recent trades and screenshots and all that for some of the ongoing education. Somebody asking here about some of the competition where they're up over $20,000. Everybody sets their pricing where they set it. The thing that we like to do to set ourselves apart, because we do everything virtually, we can keep our costs low and make this an all-inclusive. We don't want people to have to buy level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. When you decide to go into stocks, you got to buy something else. When you do want futures, something else. When you want to swing trade, something else. So just nothing you're going to have to do in that case. Yuri, yes, you do qualify with the course that you bought for the family discount, so wanted to let you know that. I see that question. Hank talking about, so you're an options trader, and I do apologize. We didn't show a lot. Clearly, really, we covered almost all forex and futures because that was where the bulk of the people were. But one of our coaches, Mike Rixey, one of the majors of only 3 majors, focuses exclusively on stock and options. And we are very serious about that. That's a big part of what we do, but it tends not to be maybe the majority. So sometimes as our focus goes somewhere else. We will have some of these type of webinars coming up. One of them definitely specializes in stock and options, but I can absolutely guarantee you if you enroll that you'll be able to use the exact same training, everything you see here successfully within equities. So good question, and I do apologize that we didn't get probably enough in that area. We probably just run out of time a lot Let's see what else we have. Risk reward, okay, so right. So I think Brian answered that one. Automation, we answered that one. When do you receive your materials from Ed? So obviously from Ed, what you will happen is you'll immediately start with the home study course, the prerequisite. So you can start that today if you really wanted to on your Saturday, or do it tomorrow, Sunday. And then we're going to go ahead and open up the undergraduate on the 22nd, and you'll be able to download all of your indicators. The Owners Club, which we didn't even show here, is really expansive. It's updated throughout the week. You'll be able to start coming to the live single rooms literally right after you finish the undergraduate. So, you know, call it 12, 14 days here. You'll start to attend those sessions. So everything will happen here over the next few weeks, which is great. Differences between tick charts and range bar charts, very, very similar, because they're both trying to get away from using time interval charts, which rarely work, certainly when tracking or when trading on a day trade basis. But a tick bar is all based upon volume, and a range bar is all based upon size, and it's always a fixed size. A nice thing about range is you'll always know your stop and targets in advance, which can be a real benefit. Ralph, yeah, that's correct. On your, if you're a recent trend jumper owner, no, Brian, I guess to answer you on this one, are they originally charged the 2,000, and then we're going to refund them the 500, correct? Not the 29.97. Is that correct?
Right, correct. It's the 2,000. If they're a trend jumper owner, it's a 2,000 then minus the 500. We'll credit that back once the transaction comes through.
Okay, got it. No, time-based, the only time-based we do to Rick is daily charts on the Forex. When we day trade, we're not using any time-based charts. Well, opening and closing is going to vary. Another question there, depending upon the futures market. So some of them, it's like I showed you earlier in the ways to scale. Some start at 8:30, some at 9:30, and we don't typically even start right at 9:30, like in the futures. We usually start like 9:33. You know, we have little tweaks to start times that make a huge difference in bottom line results, and that's all part of the trade plans that we share with you all. I'm just scanning through here to see if I've missed anything else that has been listed. Well, there's on this question, explain if day or swing trading is better. My recommendation, if you're in Forex, use swing trade. You do that definitely before you even attempt to day trade, and maybe never day trade. If you're going to day trade, your best place to be, without question, is futures. If you're going to swing trade, then you got a bit of a battle between Forex and stocks. So that does not have the clear-cut answer like day trading has. All right, so we'll put out one final call here for questions, and I'm sure most of you want to get on with your Saturday. Definitely a big thank you and a welcome to those of you who have enrolled today. We definitely appreciate that, and really looking forward to the next class. It's always great to get everybody together. Everybody's very supportive of each other, all the students coming in. You'll see everybody and kind of get to know everybody that way. I mean, I see everybody virtually is what I mean, but as far as names and coming into the live single room, so that part is always exciting. So I do thank all of you who are there. Certainly, if you have questions for us, let me put up on the screen. Well, we did this roadshow, so we had a lot of people visit us in 2012 in a variety of cities, and if we do this again, which we will, in 2013, by all means, come on out to these events when we announce them. But want to put some contact information. And our next scheduled free webinar is Tuesday. We're going to predict, the whole coaching team is going to come in and make our predictions for 2013. Let me see what else we have here. Why would you day trade using futures? It's the best set of markets to trade in. Forex has a lot of issues. We did a webinar a few days ago on that, actually. I'm not sure if you were able to attend that. But there's a lot of challenges when you day trade Forex. So day trading futures can be done in U.S., European. It's not just restricted to U.S. by any means, but there's just simply the best profit opportunities. And yes, currency futures can be traded. Connie says, already joined. Awesome. So welcome aboard, Connie. Glad to have you on board. Thanks for sharing that. We look forward to sharing everything with you. As far as knowing whether a system is curve fitted or not, nothing we do is curve fit because everything we do is go forward. So we develop everything ongoing, and we certainly develop systems based upon, excuse me, the past. But anytime we show you results, and when we go into the training and you see what everything's done week to week, day to day, it's all us not knowing what's coming next, and we never know what's coming next, and so that's how we do things. All right, so I think we've kind of reached about the end of the questions. If you have additional questions, please, by all means, shoot us an email, give us a call, get on the online chat. Have a couple of people asking for the links again, so let me put that up one final time. To Rick, there's no ongoing costs after you purchase the course, at least directly to us. So everything that I've showed you today is what you receive all in, and we don't have any recurring built into that, just so you know. All right, Brian, anything you want to add, or Troy, before we let everybody go?
Just welcome to those that signed up today. Looking forward to working with you. And if you do want to chat with me live here for the next 30 minutes or so, I'll be in the office yet. You can feel free to give us a call. I think you put that number up, Mark, at some point. But otherwise, we'll be back in the office on Monday. So again, welcome to those that signed up today.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate your time. And remember, we've got the live trade room this week. So for new members, hope to see some of you in there.
Yeah, well, they'll start actually, Troy, after they do the undergrad, and then.
Oh, after the training. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So
we'll still be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. So, and we'll see them all soon in there. So, have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate that.